Hey there, it's Rusty Nelson, your college art professor, and we're talking watercolor today. I think this is vlog 70 and episode 33 for season 2. So, welcome new viewers and returning viewers. We're here to kind of talk about whatever's happening on the channel, some of the comments that have been popping up, and any observations I'm noticing from my experience teaching various watercolor and drawing demos on YouTube. So, hey, I am a college art professor and I am approaching retirement, and that's kind of my whole shtick that I'm doing here on this channel is to get people in a similar boat. Maybe somebody's getting close to retirement, maybe you're already in retirement looking for something to do, or even that mid-career person thinking long term and wanting to get started on a creative journey so that they have that thing to do in retirement as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's happening in May for me, making the big transition, leaving the college town we're currently in and getting set up in a new location. And we're looking forward to it. Let's go on this creative journey together and we'll take a look and see what people are commenting here. So I've got people, all sorts of people talking about wanting to see some tree demos. Here's another one about color theory. So definitely can work some things up like that. I've done some previous videos on color theory and doing trees, but I need to do some new ones. Getting the semester started. This is week 3 of the new semester. So been going over, I'm teaching an online foundation drawing course, observational drawing course. So we're currently working on basic shapes and forms, learning to control value and using it to create a modeled surface on those forms. We've learned about some 1-point, 2-point, and 3-point perspective, and we're now starting to get into working with textures, fuzzy, furry textures, and reflective surfaces, translucent surfaces, all of those things. We just kind of work up the skill sets from basic shapes and forms and develop our understanding of how to apply value onto a 2D plane to give it the illusion of dimension. So that's where we're at so far getting started this week. And, I spent the last 28 years with 18 to 20-year-olds in these classes, and they may or may not have had art in high school. So we have to get them up to speed pretty quick with these foundation courses within 15 weeks, get them from rock bottom, and some of them are rock bottom beginners. And when I say that, that means typically the average person who may not have had done any art in high school or anything, they are coming into these courses with maybe a 3rd or 4th grade understanding of what it means to make art and to draw and to paint. So we do have to kind of introduce some really fundamental basic things and get them up to speed and working hard at it. And that normally takes about a 12-hour a week commitment from the student going into any kind of a drawing or studio course. So, and you can see that if you stack 2 or 3 studio courses together, you're going to be pretty busy in the course of a week trying to get that much time dedicated to just the process and the skill sets that you have to develop as a studio artist or as a designer. So I learned a lot of this back in college, back in high school, pre-computer being used to any great extent in the creative field. And so everything I did, is definitely learned through drawing with pencils, drawing with charcoal, drawing with ink, and that's pen and ink nibs, markers, acrylic paint, oil paint. It wasn't until probably maybe about 3 years after I graduated from college, so I'd have been 22, 23 years old, when I discovered uh, watercolor or wet media as a means to create artwork and illustrations. And all the illustrators that I really admired their work, they had such a glow and a really expressive quality to the work that they had. And I tried for years to try to replicate that with acrylic and oil. And it finally dawned on me that they were working with wet media, be it gouache or watercolor. So I set myself down pre-YouTube, no tutorials. There might have been a few VHS watercolor courses you could order and buy, but I was poor and I did it the hard way. So we started subscribing to various trade magazines and learned through reading articles and just experimenting. So brought myself up to speed with some wet media gouache techniques, which ultimately evolved into watercolor. Always had a lot of drawing and painting experiences in high school and college, so that was always a very fun uh, set of courses to take, and it definitely gives you the time, like I said, 12 to 18 hours a week, be it in class and outside of class, developing those skills and everything that you need to know and to get good at. So, anyway, that's where we're at. That's what we're doing on this channel. Hopefully, getting people up to speed and learning how to express themselves. And everybody's got a different reason. That's kind of cool too. When I retire, I want to get out and start doing more plein air, getting on locations, traveling and seeing places and doing these videos live on scene. So, but right now I've been doing a lot of studio oriented type videos where I'm in studio looking at photographic reference. A lot of reference I'm grabbing off of Pinterest. They're nicely cropped and framed, and there's a lot of decisions that have already been made whenever you use photographic reference from Pinterest. Unless you're shooting it yourself, then you're making some of the decisions. But again, just keep in mind that when you are working with reference from somebody else, they have already made maybe compositional decisions. There's definitely lighting decisions they've made and or controlling or have recognized that they used when they popped that picture. So it's always good if you're wanting to work from photographic reference to go out and practice and shoot your own. It's all about the lighting. Recognize what good lighting is, how those shadows interact, the shapes it makes and everything. So there's a bunch of skill sets you have to develop, even if you're going to be working in studio, in addition to just being able to see shapes, draw them accurately in the right value, in the right contrast, in the right location. So there's a lot of things to practice, and hopefully that's what our channel here with all the tutorials and the demos that I'm doing will get you up to speed and working with. So I have some people also wanting some more landscapes. I need to get some more landscapes done, some trees, bushes, things like that. I've been feeling a little twitchy on needing to do some landscapes. So I've done a couple of, I did a floral last week. It's like my wife always wants me to do florals, and it's not one of my favorite subjects. I like a lot of landscapes, definitely, since learning how to watercolor. I used to hate landscapes prior to picking up traditional watercolor, the transparent watercolor. I didn't even do a lot of watercolors when I was doing, or a lot of landscapes when I was working with gouache. It was mostly people and scenes with people. The landscapes and foliage and all that was all definitely secondary to the people I was painting. So it wasn't until I picked up full-blown transparent watercolor that I really started to appreciate and really love doing landscapes. So that's one of the reasons, and one of the things I definitely want to maybe pass on to anybody who's getting started on this is to do the things that are hard, do the things that you don't like. See if you can make them things that you like doing just by sheer persistence and practice and dedication. And pretty soon you'll be doing some things, and it just adds such a broad range of subject matter to your repertoire of imagery that you can work on. So, and that's one of the things I've discovered as starting a YouTube channel is prior to starting the YouTube channel, I would do demos for my students. It wasn't always a sit down and do a completed painting, but I'd show them various techniques and things that they can then go try. The biggest thing I would tend to do as I sit in front of the students just to show them it could be done within an hour and a half, 2 hours, was birds. And that was my initial demo shtick, which led me to think that I could possibly start a YouTube channel doing watercolor tutorials and that. And I have discovered that it is a very challenging task to be able to do a broad range of subject matter on a YouTube channel in a tutorial within 35 to 40 minutes up to an hour. I don't like to go past an hour I have done a few. I've done several that are beyond an hour, maybe hour and a half. I like to do real-time videos so people can see the pieces develop as they go, and I try to talk if my brain will allow. If I'm not focused too, critically on what I'm trying to get it to do on the paper, and my mouth locks up and I'm no longer speaking. So there might be a little dead time. I used to make videos with a lot of music and background things. That was a train wreck. So it's just me chatting along, kind of giving you some insights into what I'm thinking and why I'm doing certain things as the piece develops, but either a watercolor or a drawing, be it a charcoal drawing, a graphite drawing, a face drawing, pen and ink. There's a whole range of media. And like I said, as a designer, I developed a pretty broad range of skill sets in a broad range of things. So I definitely want to be bringing that to you and giving you the opportunity to learn with these free tutorials and lessons out here on my YouTube channel. So been working in the last couple weeks to get some of my 2025 goals accomplished. So I did accomplish a upload to Gumroad for people to go over to Gumroad and look for a 15-week beginner to intermediate project exercise calendar. So it's essentially, I'm listing out in 15 weeks the assignments on I think it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. So essentially, if you worked on a project on Monday, if it was an hour and 50 minutes in class, you'd spend an hour and 50 minutes outside class. So roughly overall about 12 hours a week on any one of these exercises and projects for 15 weeks. You would, by the end of that 15 weeks, be at an intermediate state and ready to move on to other pursuits with that skill of drawing. So, or watercolor as well. So that is out there on Gumroad. I got that up posted, but I'm also expanding it. Not only is it going to be a calendar, I'm going to kind of flesh it out with a little more of suggested videos from my library. So a little more of a schedule and recommended videos to watch for instruction as well. So, and I'm trying to get more and more new videos out there on the fundamentals again. I need to kind of circle back around. It's the start of the school year, and I want to circle back around and get started on some of those fundamentals and give you some new tutorials. Hopefully I'm a little better at it now than I was a year and a half ago. It's about a year and 9 months ago now that I got started. So anyway, that's where we're at. And trees, color theory. I think somebody popped in there and want to see a cat done. So I do have a pet portrait. I promise in this damn pet portrait too, but I keep getting distracted by other fun things to work on. So anyway, those are going to be coming, and I've been talking for almost the extent of my 15 minutes. So I better get in here and start closing it out, landing this plane, and definitely telling you that there's all sorts of links and things to go into Amazon and buy. Those are affiliate links. So if you buy anything, clicking on those links, I get a small commission. I have resources out on my website for you to go out to and download. Those are free. Loomis method, face drawing, figure drawing. We got some Riley method stuff out there, some design elements and principles and things you need to be aware of. So get out there, download that stuff. I also have on the video description my Gumroad path and link. So just copy and paste that into a browser. It takes you over to the 15-week calendar if you want to buy that. Oh, books too. I even have some books, some really good books out there listed in the video description. Noodle through all that stuff. There's all sorts of really good resources. Head over there, do all that fun stuff, and give me a like and a subscribe. That really helps. Keeps my spirits bolstered and keeping me making these videos. I'm definitely going to help you get off the ground if you watch his channels. And I think that's it. I'll see you next week talking watercolor.